In this lesson, we'll talk about beliefs and coping strategies. Core beliefs are your most fundamental understandings of yourself, others, and your world. It's because of core beliefs that you have certain themes or consistent ideas in your automatic thoughts. When people are psychologically healthy, they tend to have flexible, reality-based beliefs. They tend to view themselves as generally or reasonably effective, likable or lovable, and worthwhile. They view others as generally or reasonably neutral or well-intentioned, though they recognize that some could be hurtful. They see their world as at least somewhat predictable and mostly neutral or benign, though they also recognize that parts of their world could be unsafe. When people have realistically positive beliefs, good relationships, and when they live and work in benign environments, they generally have benign intermediate beliefs. Intermediate beliefs are general ideas in the form of attitudes, rules, and assumptions. Let's talk about helpful adaptive assumptions first. Assumptions are intermediate beliefs in the format of if this, then that. If I work hard and persevere, then I can do most things. If I trust reasonable people, then I'll be okay. If I interact with reasonable people, then I'll be accepted. If I take reasonable precautions, then I'll be safe. Now let's talk about people who have psychological conditions. If they were psychologically healthy before the onset of an acute disorder, their beliefs may have been mostly realistic and adaptive. Once they develop an acute disorder, though, their core beliefs become highly dysfunctional and negative, very rigid, global, and overgeneralized. These core beliefs tend to fall into three categories. People may have core beliefs in all three categories, or predominantly just in one or two. These categories are unlovability, worthlessness, and helplessness. These negative core beliefs are quite painful to our clients, and they cope by developing unhelpful intermediate beliefs. One of my clients, for example, has a core belief that she is inferior, that she can't achieve as highly as other people. Her attitude is, it's very important to put up a good front. Her rule is, I should avoid showing any signs of inferiority. Putting the attitude or rule in the form of a conditional assumption helps us understand why clients have unhelpful patterns of behavior. One key assumption this client has is, if I put on a good front, people won't see how inferior I am. And if I avoid showing any signs of inferiority, people will think I'm okay. As a result, she has developed certain patterns of behavior, unhelpful coping strategies. It makes sense that this client puts on a good front and avoids any sign of inferiority. Maladaptive or unhelpful coping strategies are the characteristic ways that clients behave to protect themselves from or cope with the activation of their core beliefs. Let's talk about Rachel's core belief of vulnerability. It's as if this idea, I'm vulnerable, has been written 1,000,000 times on a screen that's in front of her face. So whatever she experiences becomes interpreted through this screen. Let me give you an example. In one session, Rachel told me that she wanted to go to a photography group at school, but she was very hesitant to go. Why was she so hesitant? It's because when she thought about going, her core belief of vulnerability became activated. She had distressing images, which are automatic thoughts in the form of pictures, in her mind. She imagined walking into the photography group and having people either disregard her or criticize her in some way. No wonder she made such negative predictions. If you had a core belief that you were highly vulnerable to other people, you too might want to avoid situations that could put you in a position of getting hurt. It's important to recognize that Rachel doesn't even think to question the validity of her idea that she's so vulnerable to everybody else. She's developed an intermediate belief, a rule for living, which is don't get close to people and don't take social risks. This rule helps us understand her coping strategy of social avoidance. Unfortunately, because she often engages in this maladaptive coping strategy, she doesn't have the opportunity to get contradictory evidence. No wonder this idea of vulnerability just keeps getting stronger and stronger. Rachel's rule and behavior are more understandable once we figure out what her assumption is. She believes, if I avoid other people, then I'll be okay. But if I don't and I engage with them, then I'll be hurt. Rachel's belief about vulnerability falls in the category of helplessness. She has another belief in that category too. She sees herself as not good enough, that is, not good enough in terms of her achievement. And she also has a belief in the category of unlovability. She phrases it as, I just don't fit in. So with beliefs about being vulnerable, not good enough, and not fitting in, no wonder Rachel doesn't go to photography group. No wonder she avoids so many social situations. It makes sense once you understand her core beliefs, her assumptions, and her coping strategies. Let's talk more about the 3 categories of core beliefs. When people have a core belief of unlovability, they're afraid that there's something within them that's going to prevent them from getting the love and intimacy that they really want from other people. Or if they get it, that they won't be able to maintain it. They may express this in a variety of ways. They might say, I'm unlovable. I don't fit in. I'm unlikable. I'm unappealing. I have nothing to offer other people. I'll be rejected, or I'll be abandoned. As a result, one typical unhelpful coping strategy is to avoid intimacy or even social interaction. When people have core beliefs in the category of helplessness, there are really 3 subcategories, and they may have beliefs in 1, 2, or all 3 of them. In the first subcategory, clients are concerned that they are ineffective in getting things done, and they may phrase it in various ways, such as, I'm incapable, I'm helpless, or I can't do anything right. Beliefs in the second category have to do with believing they're ineffective in being able to protect themselves, either emotionally or physically. So they might say, I'm vulnerable, I'm powerless, I'm weak, I'm out of control. In the third subcategory of helplessness, people are concerned that they're ineffective as compared to other people. So they might believe, I don't measure up, I'm a failure, or I'm not as good as other people in terms of achievement. When clients have core beliefs in the category of worthlessness, they're not really talking about being worthless because they don't measure up to other people. And they're not really talking about being worthless so that no one will love them. In this category, people believe they're just morally bad, that there's something inside of them which is just terrible. So they might phrase this as, I'm bad, or I'm worthless, even I'm evil or toxic or a danger to other people. Some clients also have pervasively negative beliefs about other people. For example, they may believe, until strongly proven otherwise, that other people will try to hurt them, may try to control them or manipulate them in some way. They may see other people as superior or demeaning. They may see them as untrustworthy, critical, dangerous, or judgmental. Can you imagine going through an episode of your life where you believe something like this about other people? Can you imagine going through your whole life believing these kinds of things about others? Some of your clients have. Some clients also have negative beliefs about the world. They may see the world as fundamentally hostile, or dangerous, or completely unpredictable. Like their core beliefs about themselves, clients' beliefs about other people and the world might have some validity to them, but are often overgeneralized and extreme.